Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks so much for tuning in with another day of investment education. There's so much to talk about. I'm not going to be able to get into it. And I'm thinking I'm going to get some people. We're going to do maybe some interviews with different people talking to you about how to take certain properties and bundle them up. A lot of people asking about, God forbid you get sued. What happens if somebody gets hurt? Do they take all your properties? Do you put them in different LLCs? There's so much education when it comes to that. You're on multiple properties. Are you putting these in a bundle? Are you getting property managers to handle these? There's so much to talk about. And we're going to fill every answer we can in different segments. But I'm trying to keep it real simple in the beginning. Like buying properties, how to buy properties, kind of going over everything with everyone from the very beginning. Another question is, do you advise to buy properties with other people? It's not a bad idea if you have a relationship with one or two different people and you want to start an LLC so you can get more funds together. I mean, you have to remember, when I first was looking at properties, you can get properties for like $60,000, $100,000. Things are going up, right? The more expensive they are, the more down payment you need, right? So I want to kind of go over a scenario right now. I sent something. If you guys read the last post in my Facebook, it showed you how much money you should have saved at like 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old. And they're saying in your retirement, well, they're not really using real estate and stocks. They're just saying overall, this is how much money you should have. So I want to show you just a scenario, a perfect example of if you buy a property and let's say you're not even making a rent roll from it, or any profits, you're just literally just bought a property, how much money this property could potentially make you for a retirement. And this is just one single property. Now, let's say this right here is we'll say it's your primary that you turn into an investment, and then we'll go from there. All right. So the first initial, right, is your 3.5%. But we're gonna say it was a conventional. So we'll say you put $10,000 down, right? So it's $10,000. Okay. Now over time, you're gonna put some money into it, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna say you live there for a couple years, right? And now we turn it into an investment property, right? Okay. You got a great tenant. Tenants living in there. There's always going to be issues. You're always going to do something. Oh, the roof goes. You got to put a roof. Let's just say it's $12,000 for a roof. Okay. Let's say your AC goes. That's another, say, $5,000, right? So $5K. All right. Now, over time, remember, you got a great tenant. Now, let's just say worst case scenario, you got $5,000, $5K, and past rent that maybe it was vacant or whatnot. Okay, so you have 10K because you bought this as your primary, 12,000 for a roof, 5,000 for AC, $5,000 that you're paying for past rent, or if it was vacant. Let's just say another 5K for miscellaneous, right? So you have 10, 20, 32, $37,000 that you put in this. And we're going to say this is like a 20-year term, right? Now, here's what's crazy. You bought it for $200,000. You put 10% down, right? $12,000 for a roof, $5,000 for an AC, $5,000 for rent, $5,000 miscellaneous. And this is not taking into consideration that that appreciation went up, that maybe it's worth $300,000. Okay? This is literally just saying, I bought a property. I'm renting it out. I'm not making any money a month from it at all. All what's happening is the tenant is paying it. Now, you're not even doing a 15-year loan. We're not talking about a 15-year loan. And we're not talking about taking an extra payment and paying it towards principal. So this is just a flat investment property where the tenant, let's say it's $1,000 a month for all I care. The tenant's giving you $1,000 and that's your overhead. And you're taking $1,000 and you're putting it in. Okay? You're literally and every month, your bank statement or your check-ins account that's dedicated to this house. Let's say this is 123 5th Street. So your Wells Fargo says 123 5th Street. It just keeps showing the balance is zero, because you're paying off the mortgage, right? And every month you get a different tenant, whatever the case may be. Now all of a sudden you have $200,000 house, right? And it's paid off. Let's say it's paid off. It's 20, 30 years down the road, okay? And for the life of this, you put in $37,000. That's $163,000 that you have in your retirement if you sell it, if it's worth the $200,000 what you bought it for 20, 30 years ago. If you never refied it and pulled out money to buy other properties, which we'll talk about in another video, if it never went up in value, ever, okay? So this means the property never went up in value ever. You never refied it, took money out to buy other property. This is just one single property. You put a new roof on it eventually, right? Let's say you had to put, let's say another $3,000, okay? So you actually put $40,000 into this property over the life of it, and you put it back on the market and sold it. You made $160,000, right? And this is before closing costs, but $160,000. So in my past post, it was saying, how much money do you have? Well, you literally took $40,000 and put it into a real estate, which made you that return back. Now, could you make more money in the stock market? Everyone's like, oh, Bitcoins and this and that. The point is that you can pick up properties, and we're not talking, that's why I'm saying, we're not talking about the equity being built. You could have sold this, look at this market. Look at this market right now. People are buying something for $150,000 last year, selling it for $225, $230. It's crazy, right? So we're not talking about anything. So imagine all the properties that you're picking up as you go. And you have, is either it's you by yourself or you have a couple people in an LLC. You're putting down 10%, 20% down, 20% down. Every year you're buying one property. That's my whole thing. I think everyone should be looking to buy one property a year. Ready? Townhouse, condo, house if it makes sense. One property a year, right? And that's an amazing retirement. And again, I'm just doing that I'm literally just talking about you're buying a property. We're not talking about flipping, okay? We're just talking about holding in one single property. You put $10,000 into your primary, you put $12,000 in the roof, $5,000 for an AC, maybe $5,000, let's say another AC, $5,000 for this rent, $3,000 for miscellaneous. And this is the whole thing about real estate, which you don't want to get in over your head, right? You don't want the first, you also have to realize, this is the other thing that I don't think people realize is, I try to buy the cheapest, and I'll wait it out. I'm not going to rush into anything. I'm always looking at what if. What if the market shifts? What if? And so I just had this conversation with someone today, and they said, well, PMI and this and that. And they said, that, you got to put down X amount of dollars. And I said, the problem is, and again, I'm not trying to jump off topic, okay? I'm really not trying to jump off topic. Let's just say a primary residence that you turn into. You have to figure out if this is an investment you're holding for a long time. It's all about calculations of money. If someone put 3.5%, let's just say 7,000, right? And then someone put 20%, 40,000 because they were getting the PMI, right? Look at the difference, $33,000, right? A $33,000 difference. If I'm holding that $33,000, how long is it going to take me to pay the difference of what their savings? These are the things you have to realize. That's why when I'm buying properties, I'm not like holding them for the rest of my life thinking that's what I'm doing it for, unless I have a fantastic deal. In this market right now, there's so many investors that are like, my plan was to hold it for 10 years, but heck no, I'm selling it now because from what I'm making today is 10 years of what I make in rent roll. Okay? So what I just showed you was like a basic scenario, right? Basic scenario. The goal is find a property, make some additional income coming in from it. That's a positive. Make additional income knowing that maybe there's going to be a huge blow up in the neighborhood in the sense of they're building commercial and new developments coming and it's going to increase value. Again, I'm going to teach you all about that. But I wanted to do this video because someone asked me about just a basic scenario at just a plain old property and to show you how much money in return you can get. This is what you should be looking for. This is exactly that. You get a property, easy to rent, no problem, put some money into it. That's personally why I like townhomes and condos. Look, we got a whole week ahead of us. I'll do 2 videos a day. Let me know what you want to learn. Capital gains we'll talk about. Flipping we'll talk about. I'm going to get someone to talk to you about LLCs and insurance and all that. So any questions you have, and I'll also show you the difference of what I feel that's why you should put less money down. I know investment properties, you have to put 20% down, but I'm saying if you're buying a primary, switch it over to investment. Yeah. If you have any questions, let me know. Happy Wednesday. Talk to you soon.